Hello there, beautiful people, and welcome back to Whimsy Designs. So today I'm going to take you around both my office at work and my home and just show you all of the things that I made in 2021. There's a wide variety, a handful of fails. So enjoy my failure. I couldn't even say failure. I hope that you enjoy. So why don't we get started with the things around my office? Okay, so this is one of the paintings that I made earlier on in the year. I was still a graduate student actively doing online courses, which is not my best way of learning, and also trying to handle my jobs all at the same time. And this is what I actually call my depression painting. As you can see, there are darkness in the corners, and then it really comes to the light in the center. And that's what I was really feeling in that moment, was just me trying to get over that era of depression that I was going through. And so I guess we're starting on a sad note, my bad. But anytime a coworker sees it, they say how beautiful it is. And that just kind of helps me reconfirm that I tried something new. I've never done kind of like a watery path with the trees and hills in the distance, like willowy, kind of like swampy looking trees, with this little flower field. All of this was really new, but it just was something that kind of came out of me, and I couldn't have been happier. So although it was a painting from a dark time, it made such a beautiful piece of work. And as we move along, we then get to this piece, which is a dream catcher I made also. Actually, no, this was only a couple months ago is when I made this. Kind of like a floral pattern. If you can see, it kind of looks like a big flower. And then I added in just some string of beads to add a little bit of texture and color variation because it was really one-toned without it. And I have this beautiful stone in the center that I just did a simple wire wrapping around. And also this is wrapped in brown macrame cord. So this was a really super fun project that I just did from the joy of my heart. It wasn't in order or anything. I was hoping it would have sold by now, but it hasn't. But that's okay because it makes a beautiful centerpiece in my office. And that's actually all of my office pieces. There are a lot of thrifted and fun things like these ornaments I made last winter. These macrame ornaments here. So this technically doesn't count as a 2021. That's why I'm not really showing it off. But now that we're done in the office, why don't we head home? Hello. So we are back home. And this is another piece that I made in 2021. So it is just a picture frame that didn't have the glass, but it did have the backing. So this is just some canvas that I took. Sorry for the shadow, y'all. But this is some canvas that I took and I just Mod Podged it over. Then I took some acrylic paint and sketched out a design and painted it. It's really simple, but it's something that I just really loved. This was supposed to be kind of like a homemade poster board. It didn't really turn out that way because it's really not that secure. Ideally, I would have used corkboard underneath, but I was just trying to use materials that I had. Also, even a second piece of cardboard would have been good, but I guess I didn't look for it at the time. I'm not quite sure what happened. But yeah, so cardboard is what I'm using because the actual backing of this picture frame was not puncturable. I could not puncture it. And so the thumbtacks would just not go anywhere because that particle board, I guess it was what it was blocking it. So if you do decide to do something like this, just remember cardboard is the way to go, but either double it up or use a really thick piece. So if you follow me on Instagram, which you should, it's just at simply_whimsy_designs. I know it's a mouthful. Somebody already took Simply Whimsy Designs as well as Whimsy Designs. We won't talk about it. But anyways, this is a painting that I made. But you would have seen the beginning version where there was a whole purple castle here. And the goal was for me to do the opening scene of Beauty and the Beast, when they go through the forest and it's like the castle's in the background and it's just this really magical thing. There's a slight like waterfall, but it's mostly just like rocks and boulders. There was a little deer when you pan out far enough. Like, it was a whole scene. And that just was so inspiring. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But I want the waterfall to be bigger. I've never painted a waterfall, nor boulders, nor a castle. So if I should be able to access that clip, and I will insert it here, of the castle that used to be here and how the rest of the painting was still forming. And then this is where we ended. It's okay. It's not my favorite thing. I'll probably put it on my website because somebody might like it. I don't really like it, but I did learn a lot through this painting. One of the things I do want to fix, but also part of me is like, psh, girl, just be done with it, is these lower clouds. These should be smaller because from our point of view, when you're the further away, the clouds should be smaller, so that the closer up, the ones are bigger. Also, my boyfriend also says this does not look like rocks. He doesn't really know what it looks like, but it's like, it's not bad. These are supposed to be like the shadows or the cracks between the rocks and the black. It's a thing. The waterfall caused a lot of stress. These little boulders, the gray boulders, that's probably the best part. Also, this big tree. I do enjoy trees, and so that's something that was, I guess, more natural for me. And as you can see, I drew like more depth of the forest in the background, and I used watercolor with that. So that was different, using acrylic paint and watercolor on one canvas. I also was trying to use the a hack that Tina Doodles, or Tina Lay on YouTube, she taught me, with toilet paper and Mod Podge in order to get texture. And I felt like, oh, this would be great for like a foresty scene. Thought it was gonna be perfect. Part of the issue was that texture, is it put weird shadows in weird places. So not gonna try that method again unless I plan to do something more abstract. This was not the case. So it's a painting. It has scenes. It's visually maybe appealing to some. To me, it just reminds me of the stress that I went through from August through December. August through December. That's how long it took to make a painting that I don't like. So that's just the reality of being an artiste, is you're not gonna love everything. But I learned something, so I think that's the most important part about that. Sorry for this lighting. Let's head to the living room and see what is in store there that you might not have already seen. Before we get to the living room, this is a piece that I've been working on also for a couple months. So I wanted to do something with like leaves, and my vision was to have these little leaves with the branches and then a big leaf here. However, when I started that big leaf, I got about 3/4 of it through, and it just looked, it was weird. I don't know like what it looks like. I think it looks like a blob. And if I was going for blobs, that would have been fine, but it was like a weirdly shaped kidney bean, and that was not what I was going for. So now this project has been at a standstill because I have not figured out what I want to do with it yet. I'm trying to get more inspiration from pins on Pinterest, but if y'all have any ideas of what kind of pattern to go with in order to finish this off, because I do want a lot to hang, but right now it's just, it's incomplete. I don't know if I should just continue this a couple more times, trickling down. That seems like the easy thing, but I want it to be something different and special, but maybe easy is better. Also, I started one of my typical triple heart macrame orders. Then I found out that the color that the person had ordered was not the navy blue, they just wanted the light blue. So I got this far and stopped and never completed the rest. So I've got half of a heart, so if anyone wants it, I can finish the rest of it and get your order to you very soon because it's halfway done. Alrighty, so we're in the living room now, and I realized there really isn't much to show. The only things that I would have are one white macrame wall hanging, as well as the flower painting, the like mystical book and tree one, and then my beautiful black woman with the afro. Those are the only paintings and wall hangings in here. outside of that, I painted a pot. That sounds like, okay, who cares? But I'm trying to show y'all everything. So this was a project I did. I don't think I recorded it, but it was really easy. This is a thrifted pot. I got it for one of my plants. Unfortunately, the plant died, so there's that. But all I did was mix together some baking soda, and I had some leftover sage green color from the mirror frame that I painted, and then I just made a baking soda mix. And I do have a video of me using baking soda paint. I will link that right up here and also down below. Go check it out. It was a really fun video. And I just used some tape, I think masking or regular Scotch tape, to get a clean line around. And I wanted it to have some texture, so I laid it on thick in certain areas. But yeah, so that is this. I don't think I've showed y'all my yucca tree, but she's here, she's thriving. Look at her all thick with her support. So she's doing really well. So I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm gonna try to just speed past these next photos. So these photos are from a Martin Luther King inspired collection that I made earlier in the year. And then this is a picture that I made for my sister. It matches another painting inside of her living room. And then this was the first time trying to do a wood texture with a mandala, which was really interesting. Next are the majority of my macrame makings, not all of them, just because I didn't want to bore you guys with repeats. I was able to make a curtain for the first time, which was really cool, as well as this was my first dream catcher, and this was my largest piece I've ever got to make. It was so incredible, and it went to an old college friend. Ho 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 y'all, yes, I made this skirt out of a thrifted tablecloth, and yes, it's got a cute little slit on this side, and yes, I have made an elastic band out of some scrap fabric, yes. We're back in the craft room now. I forgot my half crafts. So these are 2 skirts that I made. This one even had pockets. I think this was the second skirt I ever made. It had a lining because I thought that the outer one was a little too thin. Reality, it's really not. And it just sat really awkwardly. Really awkwardly. Oh my gosh, I did not show you my clothes that I made. Wow. So this is one of them. And this is like the half and Frankenstein version of the first skirt that I'll show you next. And it's not good. I made a video and then realized I never finished the project, and when I technically finished it, I hated it, so I never posted it. I think I even deleted the footage. And then this skirt also has pockets and a waistline, but it also lays really awkwardly. So this was just, they're both from, I think this one's a curtain and this one's a bed sheet, and it's so thick at the top that it doesn't lay flat, and so I need to undo this, make a center back seam, and insert a zipper so it can be tight, because it's not working for me the way it is. And obviously I haven't hemmed the bottom yet because I'm still trying to figure out what's happening with the waist, because that'll change the length a little bit. So yeah, there's that. I think I have photos, but this is my first skirt. Oh yes, I do have photos. I'll insert them here. So this is the first skirt that I made. This lighting is coming off a little bit more gray, but you'll see in the photo it's a very green, like olive and a little bit of army green. This skirt, I tried to do a version of it over there, and this was a longer version, and when I tried to shorten it, bad things happened. This is what initially was a lap blanket that I made for myself. It's my first crochet. I think it's my first completed crochet project. But I realized I'm gonna go see my cousin in a few days, and she has a new baby girl, and so I think this will be a perfect gift. I have to check what these holes are. I don't want it to unravel on them. And I actually, this past week, I just finished making this hat for my grandpa for Christmas. So it's just a beanie. In this box, I have the half of a shirt that I was making and never finished. This was initially a summer project, and then I realized, oh no, it's going to be cold by the time I finish. Let me just add sleeves to this. Now it's winter, and I'm like, have not touched this project since summer. And so we are now at the point of Yes, these are two drastically different sizes. Thought like stretching it, it'll still probably work stretched, but this also needs to have at least like 3 more rows added onto it, which is why it stayed attached to the cord. So this is also another unfinished project, and if I can get a photo or a clip, son of a gun. With this yarn here, my coworker gave it to me, a couple balls of it, and I made mittens. And so they were my first mittens. They're not the best. One is a little bit bigger than the other. I'm learning, y'all. I'm honestly doing this video. I'm really surprised by how much I got done this year because I felt like I was all over the place. I felt uninspired most of the time, and I felt like I was always trying to start a new project because I either got frustrated or tired of the project I was currently working on. It's a lot. Well, comment below if you ever feel that way. Like, there's a million ideas that you want to tackle all at once, but you can't seem to do anything right, or at least not the way that you wanted to. So why don't we go into some better lighting, and close this video out. I'm sorry, I keep lying. This hat, plus a headband that I lost. I truly have no idea where it is, but I made a headband. But these are the final things that I've made in 2021. Also, my first hat that wasn't a beanie. She kind of thick. When my afro's out, I'm sure it'll all fit in here, which is nice. But while my hair is straightened and my head is like smaller in comparison, I mean, it keeps my ears warm, but like it's a little awkward. I can't lie, it's a little awkward, but girl was learning so many new things this year. I would absolutely love to hear from you. What have you learned? What have you been working on this year? What do you plan and hope to do in the next year? I just thank y'all for coming along this journey with me. I am really hopeful to get back into YouTube. I realize I do really like it. I don't like the editing part because I don't have any software, and the computers I have, one's for work, so I can't use that for editing, and the other one crashes repeatedly, so I can't really do that either because who knows if it'll stay. But I am really trying to still get back into it. You might not get as much fun music in the background as I would have initially hoped, so we're still working on that. That's my goal for next year, get a new laptop, one that is good for editing, but also is not like a Mac. I do not want a Mac. But if you also have any suggestions of other computers good for editing and just storage, please leave them below. Your girl would be grateful. And I hope that y'all have a beautiful holiday, no matter what you celebrate. And if you don't celebrate anything at all, I hope you stay warm, stay with the ones that you love, and stay healthy. Amen to all of that. And I think it's finally time to say goodbye. So if you stayed this long, you're a real one. But if you didn't, I understand. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!